You're back with another one. This time we got top 10 ball handlers in NBA history. Now, you see Brandon Knight right there. He gonna get crossed up. Crossed up. Actually, I wanted to do this one because it is in the playlist. I saw it for a while. I was like, ooh, ball handlers. So I want to see some ankle breakers, some dribble moves, some snapping, snappage, some like kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get to it.
Crossover. A sexy
God,
Euro
that's
step or
loud.
a nasty ankle breaker are one of the most spectacular things you can see in basketball. These NBA
And of
players
course,
have
Kyrie gonna
done
be on
those
this.
moves more than anyone
So is
else.
this history?
Here
Yeah,
are the
history.
10
Okay.
best ball handlers in NBA history.
Not gonna lie, I started
Number
watching
10,
like basketball in like
Isaiah
2008.
Thomas.
For
Isaiah
real, for
Thomas
real.
was one of the fastest point guards ever, and he kept the ball so close to the ground when he dribbled that it was extremely hard to alter his dribble and affect where he wanted to go. Zeke's ball handling was shifty, it was creative, and it seemed like he was never out of rhythm. He carved defenses up with his lightning quick first step, and then he'd either take a slaloming drive to the basket, make a crisp pass to a cutter, or a stop and pop J over a retreating defender. He did all this damage in the era with hand checking, and when a lot of ball carrying we see today was illegal, which made it harder for small guards like him to dominate. And yet, dominate is exactly what he did. Number 9, Steve Nash. Phoenix Suns of the mid
Yep, Steve
2000s were
Nash.
the
It makes
most
sense.
attractive
Makes
team
sense.
in all of basketball, and it was all because of one scrawny, long-haired white dude named Steve Nash. And while the media called the Suns' offense 7 seconds or less, Nash's teammate Quentin Richardson eloquently called it trying to keep up with this little mother effer. Nash wasn't athletic by any means, but he dribbled the ball perfectly going full speed, and he changed direction so quickly that he was one of the most evasive point guards ever.
That's
Nash's
dirty.
hand-eye
That was
coordination
dirty.
was off the charts, and he'd often make one-handed passes while running super fast, not leaving the
Bruh.
off the charts.
Bruh.
And he'd often make
Y'all remember Pekovic? Man, right there. Where my mouth is circling. Pekovic, bruh? Oh my gosh. Him in 2K was garbage. Absolute garbage. I was on the Timberwolves. Garbage.
one-handed passes while running super fast, not leaving the defenders even a split second to react. Everything he did in motion, and yet he was one of the most efficient
I don't know how
shooters
he played
ever
in
and
like,
one
cause
of the
I ain't
deadliest
watched
pick and
Timberwolves
roll
games.
facilitators.
Not
Steve
since
Nash
KG
was a
left, but
ball-handling wizard, and what he did on the court was often pure magic. Number 8, Tim Hardaway. Standing at 6 feet, Tim Hardaway had a low center of gravity.
and then
He
before
was
Wiggins
really
showed
quick,
up.
but also quite stocky,
Now I'll be watching
which made
Timberwolves
it
games.
easy for him to bump off defenders. It was a combination that made him extremely tough to guard and propelled him to 5 NBA All-Star selections. But what made Tim Hardaway famous more than anything else was his killer crossover. Many players had an effective crossover, but Hardaway's was arguably the fastest. Before he injured his knee, his change of direction was so quick and snappy that the defenders could never react in time to stop it, even though they all knew what was coming.
That was
Number
filthy.
7, Chris Paul.
Okay,
Chris
makes
Paul is
sense. Chris
called
Paul.
point guard for a reason.
Yeah.
Simply put, CP doesn't have any deficiencies in his game. Despite only 6 feet in height, he is incredibly strong and fundamentally sound, which made him into one of the best defenders ever at his position. On offense, he's a floor general par excellence. Paul is one of only 6 players to notch 10,000 assists in the NBA, and he routinely made below-average players look great with his passes.
Whenever I make a build in 2K, a point guard build, I always try to make a Chris Paul build. It doesn't work out in the latest 2Ks because I don't have next gen, and they make you bad at everything but 1 to 2 categories in current gen. But my point guards end up just being able to drive and play make. No defense, no shooting. So I try to make Chris Paul build. It don't work out. It don't work out.
Pick and roll maestro. He can dissect every defense and punish every defender who
If
overextends or
even
escapes
drive, because they
coverage.
be kind of
Or he
short.
can just
Like,
finish
nah,
himself
it's
because
normally
he's a
just playmaking.
phenomenal shooter as well. And everything is set up with
So I
incredible
just stopped making
footwork
point
and ball
guards.
handling. It's amazing to see how Chris Paul can
Oh
create
my.
separation for a shot
Dirty.
seemingly every time he wants to, even though he's usually the shortest player on the court. Number 6, James Harden.
I didn't know he was just
There are
6
many
foot.
people who are
Bruh, if I walked up to Chris Paul and I'm the same height as him, I'd be like, what the heck? Like, I would not expect him to be 6 foot. It's just, I guess, being around giants all the time makes you look so much smaller than you are.
always ready to criticize James Harden. He's not a great defensive player, he dribbles too much, he never made it far in the playoffs. While there is some truth to all
That was
those
so dirty,
arguments,
that picture he
no one
used.
can dispute that James Harden has mastered the game of basketball like few other players. If I had to describe Harden with one word, that word would be artist.
I'm still mad
Because
he
what
on
James
Brooklyn.
is doing
Like,
with the
that's just,
basketball in his
why would they
hands
do
is
that?
art in its purest form. He basically invented the step back three, which is an unguardable move. You can only hope that he misses. He has a bachelor's degree in crossing people over, a master's in Euro stepping to the basket, and a PhD in drawing fouls. He is not dominating with size. He's not overly fast nor athletic, and yet he's certainly among the best 5 offensive players who ever played. And while the ankles of poor Wesley Johnson have probably recovered, his psyche is probably still tormented.
I've
by
yet to
Harden
see that
crossover,
man
which is
again
one of
since
the
that
most
that ankle breaker.
disrespectful drops in NBA history. Number 5. Jason.
That man really looked at him, set his feet, looked at him again, looked at his man, his like teammate, was like, bro, you gonna help him? And then when he came to contest, he popped that 3 in that man's mouth. That was so disrespectful.
Williams. Jason Williams' ball handling was off the charts, and there was nothing he couldn't do with the ball. They say that Williams was allergic to simple bounce passes, and that's why he often passed with his elbow, behind the back, through his legs, through the opponent's legs, and without looking. Jason was incredibly fast. He would get into the paint in a flash, and most often, he would fake the heck out of defenders trying to guard him, with Gary Payton as the most notable example. Because of his flair and attractiveness, he was immediately a fan favorite, and as a basketball fan, you simply had to love him. Even though his numbers were average, and he was never even close to being
was
an
dirty.
all-star, White Chocolate played with such passion and style, and was one of those players that you'd always pay a ticket to see play. Number 4. Steph Curry.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Steph Curry is widely considered the greatest.
It's got to be
shooter
Kyrie
ever.
number 1
It's
then.
only a matter of
Or
time
Iverson
before
number
he breaks
2
Ray
or
Allen's
1.
record for
Like,
most three-pointers made. But it's not just the sheer quantity.
because I thought Curry was going to be top 3.
I'm
real concerned who's number 3 then.
Steph from great shooters like Ray Allen or Klay Thompson is his uncanny ability to create off the dribble and gain opportunities to shoot with his phenomenal ball handling skills. His ability to hit pull-up threes in transition after a step back or a crossover and from all possible angles is what makes him unique. James Harden is perhaps a more efficient dribbler because of his physical strength. Kyrie Irving is more aggressive in getting to the cup, but Curry is like a queen in chess. He's the only man I've seen who can dribble the ball forwards, backwards, and laterally all equally well. The way he moves across the floor, the ease with which he slides.
Then why
in
was he
all
not number
directions,
1?
Controlling the ball like a yo-yo transcends everything we've
You
seen
hyping
in
this man
basketball.
up, but he's not. He's number
3.
4.
Jamal Crawford.
Okay, Jamal
If any
Crawford.
NBA
I
player
definitely
played
forgot about
NBA
Jamal.
basketball like it's just another game of pickup, it was Jamal Crawford. Jamal was skinny. He didn't play much defense, and he wasn't keen on passing the rock once he got a hold of it. But he could score with the best of them, and that was because of his exceptional ball handling skills. His shake and bake is one of the prettiest moves.
Oh, I'm
in
right under a
NBA
vent. I'm like, why am I so
and it looked
cold?
like it came straight up from some and one mixtape. When he danced with the ball, everything else faded away, and it was like watching figure skating with a basketball. And Jamal would never slip, while the opponents often looked like they were on ice. The defender could be both bigger, stronger, and faster than him, but it didn't matter. Whoever was guarding him, Jamal could make them look like a fool in a split second. Number 2, Allen Iverson.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Iverson
he
and
was
then
a ball
Kyrie.
hog
There
who
we go.
Often opted for tough shots when he could have passed. Yes, he was skinny because he never went to the gym. He played ISO-heavy hero ball, which wasn't pretty if you favored pass-first point guards of the 80s. Iverson always was and remained a player that based his game on pure instinct. Nothing in his game made you think, oh, he must have practiced that move a lot, because he didn't really like practice that much, and yet there was nothing you could do against him. Most of his 26,000 points in the NBA came off the dribble, as he would very often simply
26,000.
ignore 4 of his teammates. His ability to drive to the basket was unparalleled by any player of his era. No matter how tight the defense was and how many players the opposing coach sent to help, it usually didn't matter against Iverson. We thought Tim Hardaway's crossover was the best and fastest ever, but then AI showed up, crossed Michael Jordan, and Hardaway immediately seemed less cool and less dangerous. With the mesmerizing combination of speed and ball handling, the answer was the most feared guard of his era, even more so than Kobe. Kobe would always get his numbers, but Allen Iverson could embarrass you, break your ankles, and your spirit. Just ask Ty Lue. Number 1,
Yep, and then
Kyrie
there's
Irving.
Kyrie. Okay.
Kyrie Irving is the best ball handler the
Go ahead,
NBA
show the
has
Brandon
ever
Knight
seen.
clip.
He is completely ambidextrous, and it doesn't matter to him if he dribbles with the right or left. Kai is incredibly quick and has a ball on a string with such ease, and it seems like his dribbling is completely improvisational. In fact, his dribbling looks like an Uncle Drew commercial, but it happens on the grandest stage and against the best players in the world. I still feel sorry for you, Brandon Knight. But not only is Kyrie the greatest ball handler in NBA history, he's arguably the best below-the-rim finisher ever, with a layup package deeper than the Mariana Trench. And while there are many players who can finish effectively with both hands, what sets Kyrie apart is the ability to jump off both legs, which is extremely rare. LeBron, for example, has a trampoline in his left leg, but I don't think I've ever seen him jump off his right. That's why Kyrie is almost impossible to block when he drives the basket.
I'm
Because the
assuming his
defender
right leg
can't
is
take
just as
anything away
good.
from him and basically has to choose his poison.
Probably just a
As
habit
Kyrie
thing.
has counter moves for everything defense throws at him. Irving has secretly become a true master of pick and roll and one of the best shooters ever at his position. Hesitations, spins, crossovers, you never know what trickery he's going to pull out of his sleeve next. And that's why it's a real spectacle to watch him play.
Jared Allen was just rolled hard to the rim in that play, though. That was an easy lob. But I mean, then again, he is playing with Kyrie, and Kyrie does love to take the shot after doing that. It's kind of rare to see Kyrie not take the shot. I was gonna look up Brandon Knight because Brandon Knight got his stuff crossed up, but I gotta look at this real quick.
Here comes Chris Paul. The lob.
Just murder. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna let it play too long. I don't want that copyright, but like, oh my gosh. Whew. Alright. I hope y'all enjoy. Make sure y'all like the video, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna look at that Brandon Knight murder again, but on my own time. Alright, I'm out. Peace.